Okay, so now let's import the textures so we can actually see what is going on. For that, I already have a textures folder inside my landscape, and we have those default ones, and next to that we can just create a couple of subfolders. So let's create a folder for example, like grass. So I need 4 materials. Just make sure that you have like 4 different types of materials. For me, it's grass, it's the soil, and we also use, in my case, forest floor. And then for the slope angle, we already prepare the rock material. So let me open up the grass folder, and then let me get the wild grass one. We get the base color, we get the displacement, and we get the normal, and we get the RDO. So you're wondering like, yeah, but the displacement is already inside there. We need the separate displacement map as well. So let's just get those things. So you do have base color, displacement, normal, and RDO. Now let me just go to soil in this case. So I will just use another texture, which is a soil. So I get the base color, normal, and this one, RDO. I'm a little confused. Let me go back to grass. Did I make a what is that? Displacement, base color, RDO. Base color, displacement, normal. Yeah, okay. I'm a little confused. Let me go back to soil. What is missing? The displacement is missing. Of course. I'm telling you to import the displacement, and then I just forget about that. It's pretty funny, but it is how it is. So forest floor. So I have another texture for that. So base color, normal, displacement, and the roughness, displacement, ambient occlusion packed. All right. Cool. And last but not least, let's go to the rock. So we can already prepare the rock. In my case, I just have the rock moss, the mossy rock from Quixel. So all those textures are basically from Quixel Megascans. So base color, normal, displacement, and the packed channels. And then everything's fine, everything's good. But now we have to do a couple of things. We need to go to this, go back into the textures folder. So here you can see all your subfolders here. So 4 different materials. Like not really materials, but 4 different, basically 4 different materials. What we need to do now is we click on this filter button here, and we enable the textures on top, texture. Now we select everything. First let's just select the normal. I forgot about that. Let's just select the normal, and then right click, asset actions, and then edit selection in the property matrix. So those are all normal maps, but we have to do something which is called flip the green channel. So let's flip the green channel, and this will be applied for all those normal textures. Because I'm pretty sure that those Quixel textures, because we just put them in an Unreal Engine manually, I'm pretty sure that we need to flip the green channel. If it's looking, we will check it later. If it's looking weird and the light is off, we will just flip it back. But for now, I am pretty sure that we need to flip the green channel. But we will see it later if this is looking correct. Next thing we need to do is we click on the RDO, all those RDO maps. So we have 4 of that. And we also do asset actions and property matrix. And for the RDO, the pack channels, we need to go to texture, and we need to uncheck the RGB, okay? Because it is a pack texture, so this is why we need to uncheck it. And then we can close this property matrix, and then we go for the displacement. So select all the displacement textures we have, so you need to have 4 as well. And again, you go to asset actions, edit selection in property matrix, and for the displacement, we only need to change the compression settings. So we need to change it from here to compression settings from default to a grayscale. And that's it. So make sure that you do that for the normal maps. So only flip the green channel inside the normal maps. Then you get all the RDO. You just change the sRGB. So you uncheck sRGB for the RDOs, and then you get all those displacement maps, and you set the compression settings from default to grayscale, and that's it for now. All right, just a quick bug fix when you open up your layers. So you do have the MF layers 0, 1, 2, 3, and rock. You need to open them up, because when we check this normal, we need to change this, of course, it makes sense, I forgot that. We need to change this to normal sampler type, but he's giving you an error. This means we also need to change the normal texture. So when we import that, this, of course, when we open this texture, we need to set this one to a normal map. Okay, this is pretty important. Then your error will be gone, and you can set this one into your layers 0, 1, layers 0, 2, layers 0, 3, and your material function rock. You can set this normal parameter texture object. Then you can set this sampler type to normal, and then you will be good to go. And then you will have a functioning, or then you will have a working normal. So let me go to, so I changed this already to, here. So let me go to material function layers 0, 2. And so I did change this texture to normal inside this texture. So we just opened that, and I need to have this as a normal. All right. And then let me put this back in. And then he's preparing shaders. Otherwise, it will just be, otherwise it will just be black. And Unreal Engine doesn't like that. So we need to tell him, hey, this is a normal sampler type. So make sure you update your normal texture. So just open up your normal texture. And just in case, if you don't find it, just click on that inside your MF layers. Click on this texture object, normal, click on the binocular, and then you see your default. So these are our default things, basically. So then you can just open this one up. As I said, change this to normal map. And the roughness here, this is our RDO channel, okay? So this can stay at default. This is perfectly fine. We can have that like so. Okay, and then let's also change that for the material function rock. Oh my god, this is all over the place. I forgot to update this, or to clean this one up. Normal. Apply. Save. Let's drag select everything. Press Q. And let's align this here. So this looks horrible. Align left. And save again. Perfect. So now, when we go back to our landscape material, we can see now also our normal is applied. So yeah, we can already see that. Yeah. And here we do have both. So now when we go to layer 2, normal intensity, so this is 0. Here's the second material, sorry for that. 1, so now you can see 10. Now you can see the normal intensity. So you should keep this at 1, I believe, is always, it's the default value, it's fine. And for the layer 3, this one would be the forest floor here. We have the normal intensity, we just put this like so. All right. So yeah. So I flipped all the green channels for the forest floor, the grass, and our soil. But in this case also, I'm just checking the intensity. So for the forest floor, which is my third layer, you can see this is a little too much. Okay, so now we can finally, again, open up the MI landscape. So let's try and get handy with our material instance and actually load those pieces inside. So we go to our textures, start with the grass. So this would be our main material for our like dark and Nordic forest. And yeah, let's just replace the textures here first. So for the albedo, pretty self-explanatory, we get our base color. Boom. You can already see we do have grass. It's getting visible now. Then we get the normal. So then we can already check if the normal is fine or not. We will do this in a couple of seconds. And we get the RDO, so the pack channel into our RDO. Boom. And now you can see we got rid of all that text, and we can see that the textures are applied, or this specific texture is applied. So if we zoom out, okay, so you can see this is like the big texture. It's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So this is the big texture here. But if you zoom in, you can see the small texture. So you can see the blend, basically. So when let me press 1 because I already have a snapshot bookmark. Yeah, you can see it's working fine. And let's try to see our pack channel. So if I go to the binocular here and our RDO texture, I'm back here. Why do I have a separate? This is weird. Why do I have a separate content drawer? Or whatever. So let me just open up the RDO. And if I disable the roughness and the displacement, we can see this is our RDO. Okay. If I set the green channel, we can see this is the displacement. So this is looking correct. And this is our roughness, which is also correct, I can see. So everything is fine. What we can do when we look at the blue channel, so our ambient occlusion, we can try and tweak that. So this means when we open up the ambient occlusion controls, let's set the black to something like 0.5, 1, 0, 10, it's not doing much. It is doing something. Now we can see. It just takes a little time until it's getting updated. But this is way too much. So I'm just decreasing I'm just taking out the black, like the black values. But I think 0, 1, 2. So 1 should be fine. Then let's get the grays. Yeah, the grays, this has a lot more information. So you can just reduce like the grays, and yeah, now we have full control to basically completely change the grass texture. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So, I mean, those things we need to tweak anyway later. We just want to see if this is working out. But it's pretty useless now to tweak it because we don't have any reference, we don't have any trees, no foliage, no light, no proper lighting, nothing's going on. So it doesn't make sense to tweak parameters here. But we do know that this is working. So let's just maybe 0.7, 1. 1 is default anyway. So, and when we just reduce the black, as like I said, doesn't have much information. Just those tiny spots. We can leave it at 0 basic. Let's do 0.5, I don't care. And we can try for the whites, so the highlights basically, we can also try to darken that. So this is pretty horrible. 0.5 is still horrible. 1 is fine. 2 is also good, but could be, yeah, 2 is not bad. So let's keep it at 1.5. 1. Let's keep it at 1.5 for now. I think this looks a little more realistic. But like I said before, it doesn't make any sense to tweak those things now. We will just leave it like so. And then let's get the second layer, and then we can just enable that. And I think the second layer should be, we can use the soil. Let me just open that one up because I have no idea what that is. Displacement, this is the roughness. So let me check the ambient occlusion again. Pretty dark. It's a pretty dark texture. And I should check the RDO and not the albedo. Sorry, I'm confused. I should check the RDO. This is the ambient occlusion. I was just confused. Yeah, this is fine. This looks good. The displacement looks good as well. And the roughness is also nice. So everything looks good. Let me just quickly check the, where is it? The albedo controls. Let me check the saturation. Okay. Brightness is also working perfect. Contrast. Yeah. Contrast, reduce this a tiny bit. Specular roughness. Let's go for the specular intensity. Yeah, you always should remove the specular. So I usually put it like for landscape and grass and stuff. I usually put this like between 0 and 0.2 maximum because specular, this is not something you want to have on your landscape material. Fresnel, let's try that. I need to enable the Fresnel, but I believe we are using Fresnel specular. So yeah, okay, it is working. But you need a high value, something like 10. But what I can see regarding the Fresnel is it gives us a little more highlights. So it is working like the specular value, but it's just giving us like a little more highlights. But like I said, it depends on the light. Yeah, it's not doing much. Let's just leave the Fresnel amount to something like 0.5. Roughness intensity, so no roughness is 0, and then 10 would be more roughness. Or like a lot roughness intensity. Okay, so far it's nice, it is working. And we can play with the tiling, we should. So this is working. And let's do 6 maybe. And we can adjust the distance logic. So start fade, let's do 250. So when it's going to start to fade, 250 is fine, 300. And end fade, this is pretty weird. We should have 400 at least. Now you can see from the like far away, and then we get closer. You can see it's working pretty fine. Okay, so we can save that. Okay, cool. So we can continue now. And now let's just paint with the second material here. So we need to get our soil textures. Let's use the soil. So this is the albedo. We have the normal and we have the RDO. And then we can enable all that. So in order to see the second layer, and of course you repeat this also for the third layer, we go to landscape, paint, get this one here. So we already have a layer info here, so this is fine. And then let's reduce the brush size to something like this, maybe 250. Fall off, let's do 1, so we have more fall off, it's softer. Tool strength should be fine, it's okay. And then let's just start painting. Give it a couple of seconds here. So obviously this is so black because we need to adjust our albedo controls and all that stuff. So let's go to the saturation. Let's do 1. Brightness, let's do 1. Contrast, let's do 1. And this is all default. Now you can see we have our second texture. So, and of course you need to play with those values to make it look really nice together with the grass. So obviously this is a little too saturated. This is a little too dark. So yeah, this is why you have all those values. So maybe we can do saturation 0.5. Yeah, 0.6 is a lot better. Brightness, we could do 1.5 maybe. Now you can see how you can just, maybe less contrast. Now you can see like how much of a difference that is. But you need to play with those values and then you can see basically everything. Let's go, we're not going to change the tint. Let's do specular. So we disable the specular. Let's do 1 Fresnel. Yeah. Set this to 0.2 roughness intensity. We don't have a lot of roughness for the landscape materials. This is the reason why you cannot really see that. But when you go to lit and you're not really sure if this is going to work out, you can also go to the buffer. Where's the buffer? There. And enable roughness, for example. And then you can see it's completely black. So we need to put this back to 1. And there you can see your roughness value basically. And this means if you want to have a little less roughness, just put this one to 1.1, 1.2. But it should fit with the other material. So you can see it's a little darker. So maybe 1.1 is fine. 1.05 would be perfect. Okay, normal intensity. And also let's do the third layer. So we can also open that. And also make sure that you change your near and far tiling. So if this is just default value, of course you're not going to have fade. So you need to have 2 different values. Makes sense. Otherwise it will always be the small or the near tiling for this second layer. And now we get the forest floor. So let's try that as well. Enable those textures here. Get the albedo, put this into the albedo, get the normal, and get the RDO. And by the way, I just realized that the normal is not really working, but this is something I will check later. For now, you have to keep in mind that the normals are not really applied, so I have to check inside the material function. Maybe there's one function input not set up correctly or something. Yeah, I will just need to bug hunt basically, and then so the normals are working properly. So this is what we will do in the next lecture. Just keep that in mind. And let me also just get the tiling far to something bigger. And let's see the albedo controls. So saturation, brightness, and contrast is all 1 by default. So we should put this to 1 by default. And as for the AO controls, we will check that. So let's go to landscape again, and we are in paint mode. Select this one here, and now you can also paint that. Now we can see how this is blending together, and you can already see it's perfectly fine. So now we have that. Let's go back to selection. And you can see the blending is also working quite fine. Yeah. Yeah, we have to, I have to fix the normals. It's not really working. I think there's a node missing, not really missing, but like one node is just wrong, not really connected properly. Where's my, here, material instance. So let's just quickly or roughly do the albedo controls. I think 0.8 is good. Brightness, we should use 1.4. Contrast, yeah, we need to reduce the contrast, or maybe let's reduce the contrast, but also we need to take care of our ambient occlusion. So 0.5 for the black value. 1.4 for middle and white. One point two maybe. And then we can go back to the brightness and put this to 1. So this is a lot better. Now, this is like, you need to take your time when you create your cinematic or your scene to really get the brightness and the ambient occlusion, the roughness, everything working together perfectly. But this is not something we have to do now. We just know that everything is working fine, everything is working properly. But yeah, for this lecture, I think this is it, and see you in the next one.